Hello everyone, welcome to this Bold Reports tutorial. In this video, I will show you how to embed the Report Viewer control into an Angular application and render an RDLC report from the server side by binding data sources with a Web API controller. RDLC stands for Report Definition Language Client Side. It enables users to create and render reports directly within .NET applications, eliminating the need for a report server. RDLC files include layout and data binding logic, allowing dynamic and interactive data presentations. They support viewing local reports using JSON arrays or custom business object collections. Key advantages include no server dependency, a flexible designer, interactive features like drill-through and sorting, and easy deployment. Here I have already designed a Product Details RDLC report. I will add this report to an Angular application and render it. Before creating the application, ensure your development environment is set up with Node.js and NPM. I run the command to install the Angular CLI globally on my machine. The Angular CLI is a command line interface tool that helps developers create, manage, and maintain Angular applications. Then I create a new Angular application and name it Angular Report Viewer. The ng-new command prompts you to provide information about the features to include in the initial app project. I enter Y to add Angular routing to the project, and press Enter to select the CSS style sheet format. Next, I configure the Bold Report Viewer component in the Angular CLI application. I change the directory to the application's root folder to install the necessary packages. I install the Bold Reports Angular library in the application by running this command. It provides Angular components for reporting functionalities within the application. Then, I run this command to install the Bold Reports Types package. It provides TypeScript type definitions for the Bold Reports library. I open the application in Visual Studio Code, which I'm using for editing purposes. I need to configure the types for the entire application. So I open the tsconfig.app.json file and register types in Bold Reports /types under type roots. Additionally, I add jQuery and reports.all under types. The report viewer requires a window jQuery object to render. I create a globals.ts file within the src folder and import jQuery. I also create a window instance to ensure that the jQuery library is globally available in the browser environment. Next, I will initialize the report viewer component in the application. So I open the app.module.ts file and import the globals. I open the angular.json file, copy the report viewer component styles from the documentation, and add them to the styles section under Angular Report Viewer, which is the name of the application. I'm using the Tailwind Light theme, but you can pick whichever theme you want. Now, I go back to the app.module.ts file and import the Bold Report Viewer module from the Angular reporting components. I add the Report Viewer scripts and import the Bold Report Viewer module within the ng-module class. Now, I need to invoke the Report Viewer component on the client side to view the report. I open the app.component.html file and add the Bold Report Viewer tag to it by removing the existing code. This is a custom HTML element provided by the Bold Reports library, which is used to render reports within a web application. Inside the tag, I add the ID attribute, report service URL, report path API property, and styles. The ID attribute specifies the unique name for the HTML element. The report service URL specifies the URL of the report service that processes and renders the report, and the report path specifies the path to the report that I want to render. The style attribute is used to add inline styles to the bold report viewer element. Next, I open the app.component.ts file and set the service URL and report path properties within the app component class. The report viewer requires a web API service to process the RDLC report files. There are two options for creating a web API service: ASP.NET Web API and ASP.NET Core Web API. For this demo, I have created an ASP.NET Core Web API service on my local machine. I have linked the video on how to create an ASP.NET Core Web API Services application in the video description for your reference. I open the ASP.NET Core Web API Service application and add the product details.rdlc report under the resources folder. Next, I will bind data sources to the web API controller. To do this, I create a productlist.cs class file in the application root folder to handle the business object data collection, which will bind the data source to the report. In the class file, I add the necessary using statement and namespace, and add the necessary data collection code to the class file. To configure a web API service, open the report viewer controller file and go to the onInitReport option method. Inside the method, I add the processing mode property with the value local and add data value collections to the data source value. Here, name is case sensitive and should be the same as the data source name in the report definition. The value accepts the list, dataset, and data table inputs. Once I'm done with the setup, I run the command to generate a URL. It will be used in the Angular application. I copy it and go back to the Angular application. I create the report service URL property and assign the copied URL with API/report viewer. And then assign the product details.rdlc report name to the report path property within the constructor. The localhost indicates that the service is running locally on the same machine as the application, while the API/report viewer path specifies the API endpoint for the report viewer service. Now, everything is ready to load the report. I run the ngserve command. The URL has been generated, so I copy the URL and load it in the browser. As you can see, the product details.rdlc report has been rendered with the report viewer control. In this video, I have shown you how to embed the report viewer control in an Angular application, bind a data source to an RDLC report using a web API controller, and render the report from the server side. To learn more about Bold Reports, you can visit boldreports.com. If you don't have a Bold Report subscription, you can try out the platform using the Try It Free option. If you prefer a demo from an expert, Request Demo allows you to schedule one. If you found this video useful, don't forget to click the like button and subscribe to our channel to watch more videos like this. Thanks for watching.